In 2020, I was approached by a friend of mine who had he owned a electric vehicle company.
Oh, geez, you're going here.
Yeah, I'm not going to make
this is the next conversation.
That was a hard turn.
I'm not going to make the turn announcement, but
we went from dead people.
Yeah.
Hold on tight, folks.
Yeah, this is a Nikola update. So
you're wearing your harness.
A lot of people have been waiting to hear about this. A buddy of mine started a company called Nikola Motors. Nikola was basically an electric semi-truck company, and then he came to me in 2020 and said, hey, I want to release a pickup truck. Let's take it to the market. And then that same year, they were going public. Have you heard of Nikola?
Just
Nikola's
Tesla.
It's basically, it was rivaling Tesla, kind of like neck and neck, but they were mostly semi-trucks. Anyways, Trevor Milton, my buddy, who is actually currently in trial in New York for a bunch of stuff that happened regarding the story. But anyways, he came to me and said, hey, I want to release a truck. I said, it's a great idea. He said, I want you to be the face behind it. I want you to help me design it. So I said, all right, let's do it. So we worked out this deal for me to, have a piece of that program, the truck program. It's called the Nikola Badger. And we literally just went to the races on trying to figure out how to build this truck and develop it. And at the same time, the company was going public in June of 21 or 20. It was 20. Company went public, I think, in June of 2020. The day the company went public, it became worth more than Ford. It became worth more than, the share prices surged up to almost $100 a share. It was insane, just absolutely out of control. And we were getting pre-orders for this electric truck, the Cybertruck, but way cooler, that we were going to build. And again, we were just selling pre-orders and reservations. We sold it was $500 million worth of trucks in a matter of a few weeks with nothing but a rendering. We didn't have the truck yet because it was still being built. So one thing that we promised, that the company talked about having, we got to be so careful in this world of promises and this and that. I got to hit you with the disclaimer. None of this information is designed to help anybody make any sort of decision based off of stocks or anything like that. And it's also not designed to be a fact-based step-by-step of what happened. It's just my view of kind of where things happened.
You're making this whole thing up.
I'm making this whole thing up. I wish I was some days.
This is Fantasy Island.
So the company goes public, blows up. Trevor, my buddy, becomes one of the newest billionaires on the Forbes list. I was there at his house that day that Forbes called, and he was worth $14 billion with all of his shares in the company. And again, the company was worth more than Ford for a few weeks. And it's an electric truck company that really hadn't delivered a lot of vehicles yet. It was close to delivering its semis, but people were really excited about it. They were excited about the electric truck. They were the pickup truck. They were excited about the semi. They were just excited about everything that was going on. And then late, call it August or September, a company called Hindenburg Research. There's a short seller based out of New York. They watched the stock go up, and they saw an opportunity, and they wrote this huge report mixed with all sorts of information, half truths, some truths, lies, flat out, just basically compiled this whole story about Trevor and who he was and what type of person he was, and they released it. And right before they did that, they went short on the stock, and they tanked the stock, and they made $800 million or something. It was some ridiculous, don't quote me on the number, but it was some huge number based off this report, which, like I said, Trevor is a hard guy to get along with sometimes. He has made a lot of enemies along the way, but they accused him of blatant scam and this and all these terrible things, which I disagree with pretty much the whole report. But that sparked an investigation. Well, when the investigation happened, the board at Nikola removed Trevor from the company, basically completely kicked him off. But I still had to deal with the company because I was supposed to take ownership in this Badger program. And what people don't realize is the Badger program was still going. Everybody thinks that the Badger was just me, went out there with a picture and said, hey, look, this is going to be a cool truck, buy the stock. That wasn't it. It was me behind the scenes building an actual truck, working with not building it personally, but working with the manufacturers. And there was 2 prototype trucks that were supposed to be ready for a show in December of 2020. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, and nobody knows this, those trucks got built and they were delivered by the date that they were supposed to be delivered. But since Trevor had been removed and there was so much drama and accusations and all these different things, GM was the partner to build this truck. It was a huge deal. Once GM heard about the report, they pulled out. It was just this big drama. If you look up Trevor Milton, you'll see the whole thing. So a lot of people, a lot of retail investors lost a lot of money because they jumped in at $100 a share. And then this short seller comes out, tanks the stock with a report that wasn't 100% true by any means. And so the Badger program basically just poof, disappeared. Well, that left me holding the bag of, I just told all these people that we're going to build this electric truck, and now I can't even talk about it. Like the lawyers, like, you can't talk about it. You can't say anything. Just lay low, shut up, and don't do anything.
And a lot of people bought stock too. That was the crappy part.
A lot
and you never told people to.
No.
Like me, for example, I bought a bunch of shares
People bought the
at
stock.
the highest point because I was like, it's just a starting company. This is where it's
It's going to go way higher.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then all these allegations come out, and then it just tanks. So like I still am out a ton of money from it.
Well, we had this beautiful path to like success. We were having this new pickup truck that was going to enter the market. It was being built by GM. We had UTVs, wave runners, semi trucks, this whole range of products, and everything was starting to come together. Semi trucks were being delivered like on the road. So that gets canceled, and I get basically shoved in the closet. They're like, don't say a word. And I was like, fists up, ready to go, like, basically go after this company that just told me to shut up and to deliver on, because I never got paid a single penny on the deal. It was all based off of performance. If the Badger program became what it was, then I was going to get a chunk of equity. So that's the backstory behind how we got to all this. Trevor's been under investigation for the last 2 years. His trial finally happened beginning of October or beginning of September. It's been going for about 4 weeks now. And this is where they are trying him for, it's a jury trial, a huge trial in New York. It is a monster trial.
That's big money.
It's huge.
Big money.
Dude, so Nikola, as part of the whole thing, they got fined $120 million just for their part in saying, basically the accusations were that Trevor and the company were making false statements about how far advanced the technology was. And there's all sorts of things you can see online about what he said and what he didn't say. In my opinion, it was a CEO trying to rally the troops and get people excited about the company. But when you're a public company, you have to be very careful with what you do and don't say, and forward-looking statements and stuff like that. So that's kind of what the whole trial was based around, whether or not Trevor intentionally said things that were true or false. Man. So he's a good friend. He's been a friend of mine for a long, long time. Friday of this week, the jury's going to make a decision, and that's going to be it's kind of like an all or nothing deal. I think there's 4 or 5 counts, and if he's guilty on one, he almost has to be guilty on all of them. That's kind of how the way it looks right now. And we find out whether or not the judge and the jury think that he actually was intentionally trying to mislead people, which is a big deal for him, right? This is the difference between probably prison or not.
Yeah.
And he's still worth billions of dollars because he still has his shares in the company. The shares have tanked, but he made a bunch of money along the way. But the reason why I tell the story is because meanwhile, in the background, while all this garbage has been happening and the company's been getting just absolutely hammered, I've been working very closely with the Nikola team and with a bunch of different people to keep that program alive, because there's 2 Badger pickup trucks that we promised that would be ready to show. They're prototypes. They're not production trucks, but they look like production trucks. They're done sitting there ready to go, ready to be announced, and that program's ready to be, pushed out there. So I can't tell you exactly what's happening, but I can tell you that the Badger program is not dead. It's there could be something coming as soon as within the next few weeks, talking about the future of what will become of that, whether it's the prototypes or a full company. I can't say that until we make the formal press announcement or press release, but